What's up guys, it's Ash, and today I'm going to give you guys the updated Squad Busters current meta tier list of the best characters in the game and the worst. 1 star being the worst to 5 stars being the best. Now this tier list is not just based off of my own personal experience playing every single world in the game and also playing at the top of the squad league, also from the opinions of many of the best players in the world, as well as stats and data. Let's start with the 1 star characters, which we have Goblin and Dynamite. Now believe it or not, these are 2 of the worst characters in the game right now. Dynamite is considered the worst character in the game by pro players because he does the least damage and he doesn't really have any great special abilities. He's only good at dealing splash damage, which is only great at the end of the game. However, there are usually much better characters at the end of the game to pick. I feel like he really needs a strong super, like his super in Brawl Stars, because Colt, Shelly, and El Primo all have their supers in this game, but Dynamite doesn't. And then for Goblin, he's a pretty solid character at the early part of the game, but once you evolve your characters, you're going to quickly realize that the other common characters, such as Shelly and Barbarian, offer way more with their damage, health, and the special abilities they have, far outclassing Goblin, whose only good ability is to just give you coins. The only time pro players are going to choose Goblin is on rare occasions when the modifier is Doppelganger or Double Trouble combined with the Traitor. Next, at 2 stars, we have Bo, B, Chicken, Royale King, Pam, and El Primo. Bo is a great character early in the game for farming against monsters. However, he is one of the least picked characters by pro players because of his very low damage when it comes to fighting other squads. Smart players are going to target you when you have a Bo, as you're going to get wrecked by other powerful commons like Colt, Shelly, and Barbarians. B is a rare character who has the same damage and health as Colt, even though she has a special ability to carry a bee sting around your squad. She is outclassed by Colt, who has a powerful piercing super. Colt also has the advantage of being a common character, meaning it's easier to fuse him. And then Chicken is a great character for obtaining speed, which is one of the most important things in Squad Busters, as it's going to allow you to chase enemies or escape from danger. However, he's a pretty weak character in terms of damage and health, and because he's a melee character, Chicken is usually the first character to die in your squad. On top of that, Max and Hog Rider are much better options for speed. And then the Royale King is a great tank, but being an epic tank comes with a big disadvantage. Since epics rarely show up in your chest, it makes it very difficult to fuse him. And so other common tanks are way better options because you can fuse them with around 3 times the health of a Royale King. Unfortunately, El Primo is also at 2 stars, but he has an advantage of being a common, so he's not hard to fuse. However, the main reason he's 2 stars is because Barbarian at 3-star evolution far outclasses El Primo. Barbarian has the ability to go elite barbarians with very high DPS and health, so there's very little reason to pick El Primo over him. Pam is the strongest healer compared to medic and battle healer, but she's not a very good healer because she forces you to stand still inside her heal station to heal your squad. This is often a disadvantage because rarely you want to waste your time standing in Squad Busters. Now let's talk about the 3-star characters, which include Colt, Heavy, Greg, Mavis, Nita, Penny, Medic, and the Witch. Colt is one of the highest damage characters in the game, and being a common allows you to fuse him easier. However, the reason he's not rated higher is because he gets outclassed easily by Shelly and Barbarian. I'm going to explain more on why the Barbarian and Shelly are so OP later. Heavy is one of the best tanks being a common with his very high DPS. However, Heavy also has a very big weakness. He actually has the lowest DPS in the game in the first 2 seconds because every time you move, you reset his attack. You need to stand still without moving to generate his power. So this can often be a disadvantage when you need to constantly move. And then Greg and Mavis are 2 of the best suppliers at the start of a game, as they can quickly get you lots of resources to build your squad. However, it also comes with a cost. The cost is that you have to pick them in your squad, which means once you pick Greg or Mavis, you're going to need to commit to fusing them. They are 2 of the weakest characters in the game for fighting other teams, so you have to be very careful avoiding fights when you pick them. Nita is a great rare tank, as she can act as 2 units instead of 1, and she can respawn her bear in time if you lose it, and so she becomes a better tank option than El Primo. While Penny is one of the strongest characters in the game with a 230 damage per second. Her ability to give you a treasure map is great, but most of the time the treasure is located at the other end of the map, and that can often be very dangerous when you're forced to venture out into other players' territories. Medic is a great healer since he can constantly heal your squad. However, healers are a little overrated in Squad Busters because of a few reasons. They are not very good early on in the game because you need to focus on building a strong and big squad at the start, of course. You can find free hearts within the map to recover health by walking into hidden bushes or destroying boxes and trees. Not just that, every time you fuse a character, that character restores all its health back to 100%. Also, you can find heal spells sometimes lying around the map, or you can get it freely from the wizard. There are just so many opportunities to heal that you don't really need a medic or Pam. As for Witch, she's also one of the strongest characters in the game with 230 DPS, but this comes with a big disadvantage because she's an epic character. Being an epic means it's harder to not only play her in the game, but also fuse her. While there are much better epic characters with better abilities late in the game as we move on to the 4 stars and 5-star characters. At 4 stars, we have Barbarian, Battle Healer, Mortis, and Wizard. Let's start by talking about why the Barbarian is one of the best commons in the game. When you have him at 3-star evolution, he can instantly turn into an elite Barbarian after you unlock 2 Barbarians inside of a chest. When your Barbarian turns elite, he gets a 77% boost in damage per second, moving him up to 250 damage per second, and that makes him the strongest character in the game. Not many people know about this. The Battle Healer is another very underrated character. Not only does she heal your squad every time you open a chest, but at 3-star evolution, she gives every character in your squad a 600 HP buff. To put this into perspective, that's 67% more HP for a Colt, 43% more HP for your Shelly and Barbarian, 55% more HP for your Witch, and so on. It's a very big buff, guys. Mortis is another powerful epic with very high damage and health, as well as the ability to revive busted monsters, making your squad much bigger and stronger. I feel like he's a very underrated character, but at the same time, being an epic isn't great since it makes it harder to get him and fuse him. And then the Wizard is another very powerful character for one big reason. He not only gives you a free spell, but at 2-star evolution, he allows you to carry 2 spells. Having 2 spells is one of the biggest advantages in the game when you're fighting another squad. He's the only character who makes it possible for you to combine spells, such as combining a shrink spell with a lightning spell to deal massive damage, or combining a freeze spell with a shrink spell to easily take down an enemy squad. Now let's talk about the 5-star characters, the best of the best. We have Shelly, Trader, Barbarian King, Archer Queen, Max, Tank, and Hog Rider. When you reach 3-star evolution with your Shelly, guys, she becomes one of the strongest, most powerful characters in the game. She has one of the highest DPS at 200 with 1400 health, which is 56% more than the Colt, who has the same damage. So she's basically just better. Not just that, she also has one of the most dangerous supers, which can knock back an entire enemy squad and deal area damage, making it easier for you to beat them. And best of all, she's a common character, which makes her one of the easiest characters to fuse early in the game. We have the Trader, who recently got a buff giving you 3 gems for every 15 coins, and that makes him quite broken, especially when you combine them with other suppliers or even the powerful composition that you can use to farm off of big monsters. His ability to give you so many gems, it always makes him an ideal pick because the objective of the game is obviously to get the most gems. And then we have the Barbarian King and Archer Queen, who are two of the best epics in the entire game with very high stats and powerful knockback abilities, as well as Barbarian King's ability to make your melee characters attack faster, such as Barbarians, Hog Rider, and Mortis, while the Archer Queen makes your ranged characters, such as Cold, Shelly, Wizard, Witch, attack faster. Max and Hog Rider are two of the best characters in the game because of their speed boost. Speed is especially important late in the game for escaping from danger or catching up to an enemy to bust them so you can win. Every strong squad needs a speedster, and so these are definitely two of the top characters in the game. While the Tank Girl becomes the strongest unit in the entire game when she gets inside her tank, having incredibly high health and damage. No player wants to mess with a squad that has a Tank Girl. On top of that, if you combine her with Speedsters and the Archer Queen, she becomes even more broken. So there you guys have it, my updated Squad Busters tier list for the current meta. I'm going to constantly update this tier list as we have new balance changes, new characters added to the game. So make sure you're subscribed to keep up to date. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget, never stop busting. I'll see you guys in the next video.